Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Your Comments. It is October the 8th, 2024. It is 5:11 a.m. in the a.m., and it's 75 degrees out there. And it's going to be another warm day today, but the good news is I believe the temperatures are starting to come down off triple digits. So we'll look at the daily. Yep, we're off triple digits. We got 98 today. In the subsequent days are 97, 96, 95, 91, 89, 88, 88. So we're in the home stretch of actual fall-like weather here in Pahrump. And by the 21st of the month, it's down to 81 degrees. Very nice. So I'm looking forward to that. And we'll start reading the comments, and there's first several are on the positive news story, and this was like when I saw this, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And it's a tree farm that's near a highway. I think this was in Oregon. Strategically planted a different type of fir tree in the forest. You can see from the road that when the leaves change, when fall comes, it'll all turn orange prior to all the green around it turning. So it makes a giant happy face you can see from the highway. So that's what these first few comments are on. Ken Gray says, I remember reading about this a few years ago. Too bad it's not caught on in other places. It would be fantastic. Dan Hardesty on the same one says, clever planting. Pretty cool. Nancy Maderas, I sure did enjoy that big smile on that same one. And then we have on the comment video, Ken Gray says, the new word is exclosure, not enclosure. I misread it from his comment yesterday, his extremely useful comment yesterday, is I've been so confused for several years now why like every house I see in Pahrump has a, well, now that I have the explanation, it's not everywhere in Pahrump, but on a certain side of Pahrump, like the west side of Pahrump, every single home has fencing, not just in the backyard, but around the entire perimeter of the property, which has got to be expensive. And I was like, I've been asking on the channel, does anybody know why it is? And people have like explanations that really didn't make any sense. You know, if you have a pet, you do your backyard. You don't do your whole yard, right? Didn't make any sense. Ken figured out why. That side of town is considered open range land where, you know, cattle, things like that can be open ranged. And there's a law that says if you have property on open range land, you have to fence it off. And they call it an exclosure, not an enclosure. An exclosure is to keep those animals out of private property. So it's a requirement of the law. It's that's why exclosure is a new word for Ken and for me, maybe for you too. Tim Harris on the comments video, it was 114 yesterday in quartzsite. Oh my Lord. The AC and refrigerator couldn't keep up. Thank goodness for my cooler and block ice. Yeah, I would not want to be anywhere near quartzsite with that kind of temperature. So a very old video that I have from 2 years ago, replacing a manual awning spring. And this was just an off-the-cuff. A neighbor was, I think it was Jim, my friend from Canada was, yeah, it was Jim. He was replacing the spring in a manual awning instead of, you know, paying somebody to do it. And I just happened to be there and I filmed it with my cell phone and he explained how he was doing. And it still gets views. The Runaway Heart says, I just received a quote of $460 to replace mine on a 98. That's a 1998 model RV. They're claiming $350 for 2 hours work, $75 for a used spring, $35 for shipping, supplies, and taxes. I got a strange feeling they were trying to rip me off a bit. Thanks for your video. I'm going to find me a spring and do it myself. Well, I'll wait until my hubby is in off the road to assist me. Thanks again. Let's see. There's a double of that. She printed. It got posted twice. Believe M. Campbell on the comment video. Believe it or not, I've met many people who think that all drones are spying in them because they strongly believe there's a government surveillance of normal citizens. Yeah, if you're in any kind of city or anything, you're on camera everywhere you go. The gas station, the 7-Eleven, the bank, walking down the street. Forget drones. Start looking around. Any government building have those, those sort of upside down cups on the ceiling. Those are cameras. They're recording you everywhere you go. Big cities have cameras just everywhere on the street, and it's just like we're under surveillance all the time. And when you're in public, and there's no right to privacy in public, where there's no reasonable expectation of privacy. You can be filmed legally. They can save it, record it, use it, do facial recognition, whatever it is they want to do. If you've ever but watched the series Person of Interest, it's pretty fascinating. And the whole premise is that there's this program that gets all the video feeds from everywhere and does facial recognition and body language stuff, and they predict crimes. This artificial intelligence does. And these two guys tried to intervene and prevent the crimes from happening. It isn't getting better with all the fear-mongering and divisiveness these days. It makes no logical sense to me, but I've met an appalling number of them, and that they think the government would use something as obvious as a drone when people can be tracked by their cell phones. This proof they are not using any critical thinking whatsoever. Yeah, and cell phone tracking, it just, you're carrying something around that's emitting a signal. Now, what can you do? There's way less privacy than there used to be due to technology, and that's just kind of all there is to it. And I don't think drones are a very efficient way of, getting overhead shots. Why would they need them? They have satellites. And satellites, go to Google Maps and look at your house. Shots of your house. And street shots of your house. And that's not sophisticated photography from orbit. That's not the limit, anywhere near the limit of what they can do in the high. I think they have satellites that can see extremely high levels of small detail. So anyway, I try not to let all this stuff bother me. It's just part of what it means to live in a technological society. So the long form video yesterday was called RV Life Gratitude, and just me talking about the gratitude attitude. Jeff Garrison says, retired Rob's new meal plan, hot dogs and roasted marshmallows over the campfire. And Rose said, adds to that, s'mores. That doesn't make any sense unless you saw the video. Just briefly, in part of it, I talk about the really cool things about my college life when I was in college, like the meal plan. I loved the meal plan. I was talking about how I wasn't really appreciative when I was in college because I was always looking forward to the next thing, graduating, being on my own, instead of like really enjoying where I was. Do it differently if I had it to do over again. Rose says, happy Monday. And Ken Gray says, one of the first things I learned when I got older is that you don't have to be a kid to enjoy trick or treat. I will give candy to anyone that comes to the door. Well, Ken, you're not trick or treating. You're giving it out. Adults are allowed to do that. But see what happens if you dress up and start knocking on strangers' doors looking for candy. You won't last long. None of us would. Mike Devlin, I got sober in 94. My first sponsor told me the same thing about resentments and gratitude. And what he's referring to is I had a mentor that told me it wasn't possible, like a law of physics, that to be resentful and grateful in the same moment. You can be resentful right after you're grateful, but not during we can't hold those two kind of emotions simultaneously. He also said it's an action word, and I can't rest on my laurels. Go out and help somebody by being of service. Thanks for the reminder. I will also be 65 soon, and life is good. All right. All right, Mike. We have a lot in common, Mike. More than you imagine. On the trees video, Rose, I can put on a happy face. Yeah, that's great. Judy, on the comments video, I also wonder if the Escapees Park has different rules on size depending on the park. I don't know. I'm sure they all have different rules. I'm sure of it. Let's see. Another attempt with my new selfie camera. Interesting. Good for you. YouTube channel, business. Hugs to fur babies, Dottie and George. Happy trail, safe travels. That's Rose. And we have Judy again on RV Life Gratitude. What a fabulous program for college students. I believe in, she's now, this takes explanation too. I went to Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts. It's known as a co-op program, meaning you're in bachelor's degree is 5 years, but 2 of those years out of the 5 are spent working in your chosen field. So when you graduate with a degree and 2 years of work, 2 years of work experience in the field. That's been around since like the 60s. Lisa Roth, I'm very grateful for what I have and where I am in life, especially thankful for my friends, most of whom I met in this new lifestyle I've embraced. And she means nomad life, RV nomad life. I'm one of those friends. M. Campbell says, when the weather allows, I take my morning coffee to my patio and enjoy being outdoors. While there, I always remember I used to wake up early, rush to get ready, fly out of the house to sit in traffic for almost an hour, just to spend all day with awful people doing a job I didn't like. Oh, that's horrible. Life is much better now. I have problems, sure, but nothing I'd trade for having to go back to all that again. Yeah, that's a way of feeling grateful. When you get out of a bad situation and put yourself into a good one, it makes it easier to feel gratitude. Rose, wow, that's so cool. A cool story. That's the lotto winner guy that became like a volunteer chauffeur for people that couldn't afford it. Lisa Roth, awesome. Salute whoever came up with that fun idea. That's the smiley face in the forest. This is Naj commenting on the comment video from a week ago. Yes, I like regular pumpkin also. In my culture, even put pumpkin in food. I'm talking about like pumpkin flavoring that's in my coffee like right now. Judy Val, there's on the happy face in the forest, there's Bob Ross's Happy Little Trees. That's great. Okay, you all know who Bob Ross is, the painting guy. It was so calming and relaxing to watch on TV. And he'd always do these landscapes, and when he was painting the trees, he'd say, "You're the happy little trees." That was a definite correct direct quote. And that is it for today. There was something I was thinking yesterday I was going to mention on the comment video. Well, I forgot what it was. I'll probably remember long after this is uploaded and you've already seen it. But anyway, I think the long form video today is going to be another grocery shopping trip, this time to Albertsons. So I've done Smith's, Walmart, and today I'll do Albertsons. And Judy's still here. I'll probably take Judy with me. And the positive news story, there's 2 of them out there. I got to figure out which one I'm going to do and get that done. So thank you for watching. I will see you on the next one.